The 2019 regular season has come to an end, and the Atlanta Braves have finished the year at 97-65, which was good enough to be the first wildcard team in the National League as the Nationals won the NL East. And we will be the first wildcard team playing host in a one-game wildcard against the San Francisco Giants. So the Giants, it is 2019, it is not an even year if you believe in all that nonsense. But they do have a tough team, and it is a one-game playoff where they're going to be sending out Madison Bumgarner, but we will get into that a bit later in the episode. First things first, we're going to be going over the award winners. There's on the National League side of thing, the MVP and the Cy Young was Clayton Kershaw. He finished the year at 19-7 with a 2.84 ERA, which was somehow good enough to get him MVP and Cy Young. I mean, that's almost a 3 ERA. I don't think that's a MVP-worthy season. He didn't have 20 wins either. Not that that's really a thing that I'd give a shit about or anybody should give a shit about, but I don't think that's I'm sure there was a bat in the major leagues who deserved MVP over that. Given the Cy Young, obviously, but I'm sure there was an MVP candidate who was more deserving of it than giving Kershaw both MVP and Cy Young. The batting title went to Paul Goldschmidt of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Rookie of the Year went to Dominic Smith of the New York Mets. And then there was the Gold Glove Awards on our team. Julio Teheran, Gold Glove winner at pitcher. First base, once again, he has got a streak of just racking up Gold Gloves. Freddie Freeman. And then at shortstop, Dansby Swanson was flat out robbed, snubbed, whatever you want to say. He was robbed by Addison Russell. Dansby Swanson, he made lights-out plays for us in the field all year long and just made the routine ones, made the spectacular ones, and he was snubbed by Addison Russell. So he is the Gold Glove winner at shortstop. In the American League, the MVP was Eric Hosmer of the Los Angeles Angels. The Cy Young Award winner was Corey Kluber of the Cleveland Indians. The batting title went to Carlos Correa of the Houston Astros. And then the Rookie of the Year award went to Ryan O'Hearn, first baseman on the Kansas City Royals. Taking a look at some of the league leaders on our team, there is Freddie Freeman, who his .306 average was good enough for 4th in the National League. His 41 home runs were 2nd in the National League, and then his .972 OPS was also 2nd in the National League. He had that slow start to the year, but he definitely finished strong, and he was top 5 in all those categories. Josh Harrison finished the year top 10 in average, hitting .296 on the year, which was exactly 10th in the National League. Dansby Swanson was 7th in doubles with 37 two-baggers. Ender Inciarte was tied for 3rd in triples with 9 of those bad boys. And then on the home run side of things, there was Jung Ho Gong, had 32 home runs, which was tied for 8th. And then Chris Davis, who was acquired at the trade deadline from the Oakland Athletics, he finished with 30, which was good enough for 13th in the National League. On the pitching side of things, there was David Robertson, our closer, who was tied for 1st in the National League for most amount of saves with 49 on the year. And then there's also, of course, Patrick Corbin, who's been pitching well for us all season long. He finished the year top 5 in ERA, exactly 5th with a 2.66 ERA. And then 10 home runs allowed, which was 1st in the National League. So nobody allowed less home runs than Patrick Corbin, among qualifying pitchers, that is. So like I mentioned earlier in the episode, we will be taking on the San Francisco Giants in the wildcard game, so going over each team's key players in this one-game playoff. The starter for the Atlanta Braves will be Patrick Corbin. He's been the best pitcher in our starting rotation all season long. He had the 1st or 2nd ERA for most of the entire season. He doesn't give up home runs. He's been our ace, essentially, even though he wasn't in the #1 spot in the 1 to 5 in the depth chart of the rotation. He was definitely our best pitcher this season, so he's getting the nod in the wild card game. Then if he can't get it done, you got in the bullpen, you got George Contos to help out. He had another season where his ERA was in the 2s. So once again, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and now 2019, he has an ERA that is in the 2s. He's keeping that streak alive. He pitched 97 in the 3rd innings, and he went 11-3. Arodys Vizcaíno, not the best numbers on the year at 5.01 ERA, 50 strikeouts and 41 in the 3rd innings. But once again, he is a Roto Vizcaíno. Hopefully he'll be able to pick things up in the playoffs and play a role in there. Raisel Iglesias, we picked him up for this exact reason, to have a deep bullpen. So once we get into like the 6th, 7th, 8th innings, we can just roll out guys like Cantos, Iglesias, and D-Rob, and then just close the game out. So Iglesias, 2.71 ERA in 66 in the 3rd innings pitched with 60 strikeouts. And then, of course, there was David Robertson, whose ERA numbers weren't that impressive with a 4.02 ERA, but he did have quite the impressive strikeout numbers, 85 Ks in 65 innings pitched. And then on the offensive side of things, I would definitely say that the Braves have the advantage, as we'll move on to the Giants next. But as of right now, the Braves, they had Freddie Freeman. They're 3, 4, 5, and 6 is Freddie Freeman 3, 4 is Jung-Ho Kang, 5 is Chris Davis, and 6 is Marwin Gonzalez. That's 41 home runs in the 3rd. Kang, cleanup hitter with 32, Chris Davis with 30, and then even Marwin Gonzalez has 16. And then after him, you got John Ryan Murphy. You got Josh Harrison at the top of the order. You got Ender Inciarte and Dansby Swanson. I would definitely say that the Braves have the edge on the hitting side of things. It is definitely probably more even on the pitching side of things, but as far as starting pitching goes, I would say the Giants have the edge in that, as they have Madison Bumgarner going in the wild card game. 2.67 ERA, 222 and 2/3 innings pitched on the year, but of course the guy is Madison Bumgarner. He goes off in the playoffs. We all know his history in the playoffs. The guy is an absolute madman. And then the Giants have 2 ridiculous arms in their bullpen. The rest of their bullpen is just kind of mediocre, but then they have at the back end in their 8th and 9th inning, or whenever they want to use them, because bullpen runs are stupid, and if you just define a guy as being an 8th inning guy, you're just missing out on, well, maybe if somebody's in the 7th inning and that's when you're facing the best of the guys, put him in the 7th. There shouldn't be bullpen roles, but Mark Melancon, 1.66 ERA, 0.92 whip in 70 and 2/3 inning. He is the one head of the Dragon in the Giants bullpen. The other head is Zach Britton with a 1.90 ERA and a 0.84 whip in 42 and 2/3 innings pitched. He has a lot less innings because he was injured for quite a bit of the season, but definitely something to look out for, is they definitely have the better starter. And then they have the 2 insane relievers at the back end of their bullpen. I would say our bullpen is more depth. We have more depth in our bullpen, but they definitely have the edge when it comes to just pure overall guys in their rotation and in their bullpen. And then on the hitting side of things, really the only guy in their lineup who is hot right now, really had a great season other than their leadoff guy Eduardo Nunez, was Brandon Belt. He hit .313, hit 33 home runs, drove in 100+ runs. He is the best bat on their team by far. There's Steven Souza, there's other guys, but none of these guys had great years. They're not really the best of players, but Brandon Belt definitely had a great season, and he's their best bat heading into this wildcard game, especially with Buster Posey being on the DL, so they have Yosmiel Pinto catching for them. So Buster Posey, he's out for 1 to 2 months with a fractured hand. We don't have to worry about him, and even if they go into the next series, whoever plays them next doesn't have to worry about that either. So with that being said, it's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Atlanta Braves franchise, going over the end of season, plus the wildcard game preview against the San Francisco Giants, Mad Bum versus Patrick Corbin in Atlanta. I've been your host, Jersey Born, and I'm saying goodbye.